You're listening to the Recovered Life Show, the show that helps people in recovery live their best recovered lives. And here is your host, Damon Frank.
We're talking about giving yourself permission to have fun in sobriety. I'm joined today by Reverend Kevin Kline. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Damon?
I am doing great. You know, once I introduced you as a pastor and you said, no, Damon, I'm a reverend. I don't know what the difference is, but welcome back to the show, Recovered Life contributor and Reverend Kevin Kline. So, Kevin,
yes,
what's the deal? Having fun, man. Like, there's a bunch of uptight people in recovery.
Yeah,
you got to give yourself permission to have fun. What's the deal with that? Why are people stuck on this? I knew as soon as I'd put out this episode, and I know we're going to get comments on this, people sometimes are afraid to have fun in recovery.
Well, I think there's a couple of things. One is if people are new, their only angle on having fun is getting loaded. And, trying to figure out how to have fun not loaded is, kind of overwhelming sometimes. But I think it's mandatory to have fun. I think that if sobriety, being clean and sober isn't fun, I won't stay clean and sober because I'll just get so uptight about everything. I'll stop talking to God and then I'm out of here. When I was new, I had a whole bunch of people that I hung out with and we would go do things, go see movies and go play miniature golf and just do all kinds of stuff. And what that did for me, aside from having a good time, which I enjoy, is that I got to know them a little better. So if something came up, I would have somebody to talk to because I knew them already. I could say, hey, can I call you? And it's easier. We need networks of people. We need a lot of people.
Kevin, you're talking about how that it's a priority. And this is interesting because one of the reasons I wanted to do this segment with you is I don't think people think about it as a priority. I know I didn't. A lot of times when you come into recovery, admittedly, people come in with a lot of problems, right? It's like a bad country music song. They've lost their dog. They've lost their girlfriend. Their
Yes.
mother won't speak with them, right? It's sometimes a lot of chaos. So the last thing they're thinking is, oh, fun, right? But I found it is, we've been having a lot of shows about prelapse and relapses. And we're talking about the signs of that, right? And I think not having fun for a long period of time is also a prelapse sign. I think you've got to, it's a priority because if you don't do that, if you can't find a way to enjoy sobriety, it is really going to be miserable.
Well, yeah, because if you're miserable, nobody's going to want to hang out with you. They may say, how you doing? And then listen for a minute. But, if it's the same country Western song, going on, people are not going to want to hang out, As sad as that may be, you may attract somebody that wants to yank your covers about everything, kind of like me. But no, I think it's critical. When I was new, I got a whole 4.5 days in a hospital because that's what my insurance company. Actually, they thought I only should have 3 because that's how you detox off all that stuff at once, right? But after that, it's because I got to know that group of people, and there were 17 of us at once. And the second this one guy got let out, he bailed. His parents put him in. But the rest of us, we all stayed sober for a very long time. And that's the percentages are kind of against that. Sadly.
Yeah.
But we had each other to hang out with. And on Saturday nights, after the meeting that we went to, we would go to dances or we would go to coffee, and then we'd find some seriously late night meeting. There was one meeting we used to go to in Hollywood that started at midnight and it went till everybody had shared. And it was a long meeting. So I didn't stay for the whole thing, but we had a lot of fun. And I knew I could talk to any of them. And so on my 31st day of sobriety, when my grandmother died, who was my primary caretaker, and I was falling apart, I went to them because I knew I was safe with them, And I also, this is something that I think is important. I know it's not about having fun, but even when we're in a serious part about grieving the loss of someone that we love, we can't stay just down all the time. I thought I had to stay down all the time and be serious, because otherwise I was somehow, like not honoring her, and it's, no, we got to have balance.
I
We
love
got to
that.
learn how to be adults, we got, and be responsible and all that stuff. Right. But we have to have fun, or we won't stay sober.
Let's jump into that, the spiritual side of this, because I found just with myself, there was a little bit of like, oh, because I got sober in my late 20s, right? In my mid to late 20s. So I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I had a lot that I had to make up for, even though that I look back now and I'm laughing because it's so
Mm-hmm.
young, right? But it's
Right.
like, I just felt like, well, I didn't do this right. I didn't do that right. And then when you wake up, and there is that time, right, where you wake up and you see maybe your peers and other people are more ahead, their lives are together, and you feel like you've maybe, hit that retrograde a little bit. You
Mm-hmm.
feel that you've gone backwards maybe. And so there was a bit of that. And I see this in other people. It's like, you know what? I don't really deserve to have fun. And I found that that's a spiritual thing, and that is dangerous, right? Can you talk
Mm-hmm.
about that whole idea of that? Because I know there's people listening to that say, like, yeah, Kevin, that's great for you, but like, man, I really screwed up. I don't deserve to have fun.
Well, that's baloney, for one. Um, in one of the programs, we talk about, we're not a glum lot. And it's serious. It's Rule 62. We're seriously not serious sometimes. Um, my take on God is that, um, and this may be far out for some of you, but God wants to have fun by means of us. And not going there is like stunting our relationship with God. I think that's my personal opinion. That we, to be a well-rounded human being, there has to be fun, there has to be joy, there has to be laughter, there has to be humor, there has to be camaraderie, there has to be all those things, because we have the things that are serious and very adult, and people die, and some people lose jobs, but then sometimes they get a better job, but um, life's in session. But that doesn't mean that we like have to like stay like this all the time. It's a setup. It's a
Yeah,
setup
absolutely.
to go
Absolutely.
out, right? If we want to talk about relapse prevention, it's like, one, you got to have a network of people, and you got to have fun with them, a network of sober and clean people, I should say, and have fun with them. Have people that you can lean on. You know, set it up for winning, right? That, I believe, that's what God wants, and this idea that we don't deserve things, because we come in with a self-image that isn't really great, has nothing to do with what God's image of us is. Zero. None. So, I mean, we were made to have fun, and to laugh, and to love, and to have joy, and to have humor. Some of us tend to go there a little faster than others, but or a little further. But and for those of you who don't know, the longer you stay sober, the less serious we can be. Um, Damon and I have had quite a few times at coffee where we've laughed a lot, and that's wonderful, And I know I can call him, and he knows he can call me. Um, yeah, it's the other thing about deservership that I hear in meetings, and I want to yell out, that's bull crap, but and that's that, talking about grace, and that people think that they don't deserve it, and what it says is unearned. And that does not mean undeserved. It just means you don't have to work for it. It's yours already.
I love that. Yeah,
Okay?
it's an unearned gift. It's not. Yeah, I
It's
love
not
that.
undeserved.
Let's dive into the process here of how people can get out of this funk, because you said something before. You talked about grace, which I think is definitely, that takes care of that whole shame thing and everything that goes along with that, why people might not have fun. But let's talk about this word that you said, connection. And I think what I found too is the times that I have been the most serious and the most unwilling to have fun are the times that I didn't want to connect with people. And it was actually a defense mechanism. And we
Isolation.
know now, yeah, absolutely. You and I know that the way in which the prelapse happens, and one of the first things that happens is cutting off connection with other people. It's the connection, like you and I talk about that a lot, about how amazing 12 steps is and all that, and how great sober coaching is and all that stuff. But really, it's all built on a connection, this magical connection with people.
Fellowship.
What if people have cut off that connection and they find that they're just not connecting with people? What are some of the tips that you would give, Kevin, that people could maybe jump in, right, and take just a little step to start connecting, start having fun?
Well, the first thing I would say is have at least one person that you can reach out to that isn't gonna, just pat you on the head and say everything's fine, and then he'll leave you alone, right? Have one person you can really talk to that you will believe when they say your head's up your butt, and we need people like that because we can go there. It's easy for us to go there. It's easy for us to isolate because that's the dis-ease. That's the thing that wants to keep us separate from people and separate from positive things and separate from joy and happiness and separate from all of that. And then so we do that, and then it snowballs. Not good, right? So as soon as you can, start building a sober network, clean and sober network, people that don't drink and use. There's some people, I hate to tell you, but there's actually some people that really never did drink or use. They do exist, some of them are even fun, but connection is critical. The fellowship is important, that it's not just a church term. When we talk about it's not, it's about, being with people that get you, right? And you can just go, because you don't have to put up a pretense, you don't have to pretend, you don't have to try to jump through some hoops or any of that, unless you're trying to, and then that's another story. But but just people that you can just be with, that you don't necessarily have to explain anything. You can just be with them and hang out. It could, because I know there have been so many times when I've been in groups of people where one person or another hasn't been in a good place, and even if they're trying to pretend they are, it's like, you're lying to me,
what I think that people make the connection so complicated. I know I make the connection so complicated. Like, sometimes it's just as simple as saying hi to somebody in a grocery store.
Amen.
Or in a line and just, that is where connection happens. I think we think it's going to be so theatrical, right? It's going to be it's going to be an episode of our favorite TV show, but it really is as simple as just starting to talk to people. It could be a neighbor and listening to people and seeing how they're doing, and, sharing a joke about something or a smile about something. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Yeah. Kevin Kline, thanks so much for coming on the show. It's always good to see you. We're going to put a link so that you can get a hold of Kevin if you ever want to talk with him. He loves commenting and talking with people in recovery. We'll put a link down there. Kevin, thanks so much for coming on today.
Thanks, Damon.
Sometimes addiction recovery can be a lonely battle, but you don't have to fight it alone. At Recovered Life, we're dedicated to helping you live your best recovered life. And that's why we're inviting you to subscribe to our free weekly newsletter. Every week, we carefully curate exclusive content from leading minds in addiction recovery, mental health, and all things important to the recovery lifestyle. Stay in the know with the latest news about addiction and get exclusive invitations to special recovery-focused events and explore insights tailored to support recovery from alcoholism, drug addiction, codependency, disordered eating, dysfunctional family dynamics, gambling, and so much more. With our newsletter, each week becomes an opportunity for growth, healing, and taking a step closer to the life you deserve. Take your first step towards a brighter future today. Go to recoveredlife.us and subscribe for free. Sign up now at recoveredlife.us.